Luke, first of all, welcome to the team. New signing.
Yeah, thank you very much.
When did you put? Oh, in fact, I was there when you put pen to paper. It was at the Royal Armoury show in November, wasn't it?
Yeah, in Leeds, yeah.
And how did that come about?
Well, I was under Carl Greaves since the start of my sort of professional career, and I spent 2.5 years there. And I live in Scunthorpe, so I was always travelling to Newark, and it just got to the point where it was becoming a lot of travelling. Carl was very busy. He had David on his books. He was sort of coaching him up to, beating Josh Kelly and such and such. So it was just about timing really for me. I mean, Carl's a great coach, but I just needed a bit more time from a coach. So I ended up getting in touch with Seb, and it sort of just went from there.
So how did you know about Seb then? How did you?
Well, I work with Dex Spellman, and Dex does a lot of rounds with Sonny. So I spoke to Dex about where do you recommend sort of going, because Dex has been about professional boxing for a fair bit longer than I have. So I asked Dex, and he recommended Seb. So we came over, did the session. It just seemed to work. So.
And how are you finding it? So you 6 months, did you say you've been in?
6 months, yeah. I've been with Seb.
And by the time you get, because hopefully we've got a date for you. I think it's March the 20th in Hull. But it's got to be what, close to 2.5 years since you last fought?
Yeah, September 2019 out of the last box. I was supposed to actually box in March of 2020, and it got called off about 2 days prior for the obvious. So yeah, it'd be 2.5 years going on, yeah. Since I last boxed. So
do you think there's going to be any ring rust, or have you shook all that off in training for this fight?
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, my last 2 camps, I was hardly doing any rounds. This is sort of the first camp where I've consistently got rounds every week, so twice a week. So I don't think there'll be too much ring rust, to be fair, because I am getting a lot of sparring in, which I ain't had previously. So.
Well, let's go right back to the beginning then. So how old are you now then?
I'm 26.
26, but you've had quite a long amateur career though.
Yeah, so I boxed in the Navy full time.
Oh, right.
For 4 years. So I was getting 12-15 fights a season with them. So I think I had nearly 100 amateur fights in the end.
And you did fairly well in the championships. You didn't win the championships, but you're always in the semi-finals and the quarter-finals a lot, weren't you?
Yeah, I got to the quarters, and I always seem to just come up a bit stuck. I boxed Pat McCormack, which don't ask me how it went. I boxed Joe Laws, and I boxed Danny Wright, and all 3 of them. I mean, Joe Laws didn't go on to win it, but he got to the finals. But Pat and Danny Wright both went on and won it. So that
was in 2016 when you fought Danny. That's
yeah.
On.
Well, the first year my first year in the ABAs, I boxed Pat. That would have been the year prior to that. And then I boxed Danny, then Joe Laws in my final year in the amateurs.
And what made you turn over then? What was the reason for you turning over?
Well, I was boxing full time in the Navy, so I didn't really have a reason to turn over when I was in the Navy.
So when you left the Navy?
Yeah, well, so when I left the Navy, I was just like, what should I do? I didn't really want to go back to an amateur club. So it just sort of made sense to turn over. I mean, I was pretty much boxing like a professional in the Navy, boxing full time. So I had that sort of background with that, so I just thought, why not turn over? And
what weight are you going to be competing at?
Welterweight.
Welterweight, yeah. Because you're going to be making your debut for VIP, but it's going to be your 6th professional fight, isn't it?
6th professional one.
And I keep saying he's got a little bit of power, because I think the only thing I know about you is what BoxRec says.
Right.
So you're 5-0 with 2 KOs, and one of them being Danny Little, who we know very well because he's one of just 2 journeymen that we have on the books. But a very tough man and a hard man to stop.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, it was on cuts, but that was my first pro fight. That.
Yeah.
So it was a nice way to start off, but yeah, I mean, carry a bit of power, but nothing crazy. I mean, I like to. Since working with Seb, we've been working on a lot of different things. Power not really being the main attribute I'm trying to take into my next fight. Hopefully, I'll show that we've been working a lot on boxing stuff over just trying to flatten people.
I spoke to Danny and I spoke to a few other people, and they've all said good things about you. So now you've been down here, you were saying that you've been working on different things. So what was your style like before then?
I really don't know. I honestly don't know. That's what I like about being under 7. I'm actually surprised that Seb hasn't got more professional lads on his books, because he's really knowledgeable. So yeah, to be fair, he
stood right here behind us, isn't he?
No, without blowing smoke when I was outside, I'm surprised Seb hasn't got more professional lads, because he's really knowledgeable. So before I didn't feel like I really had a style. I just was like, I got in there and did what I thought was right.
Well, then are you excited? Are you excited?
I'm really excited,
to
yeah.
see what you can bring to the table on March the 20th?
Well, in 6 months, that my game's cut. I mean, you think how much can it change? But because I won't come in here completely as a novice, I just had to like sort of tweak a few things, and I picked it up really well. I feel like my big game's completely changed, so I am looking forward to it.
And you've obviously, like you say, you know, 5 fights under the belt. If everything went well this year, and we can get you out as often as we can, I presume you've got to be thinking, you know, what are your end goal ambitions?
Well, like all the lockdowns and COVID, I was, like I said, 5-0 going for my 6th. In my head, I thought within a year I'd be boxing for like maybe an area title or going towards that sort of direction. But that put it back. So obviously having 2.5 years out, I'd like another few fights under my belt before I sort of like step up. But I think, you know, into next year I should be looking at sort of some sort of area title.
So if we can keep you busy throughout 2022, then 2023, when you'll be coming to your brother, what, you're going to be 27 then next year?
27, yeah.
So that would be perfect for you then to be looking for those titles, whether it's a central area or even in English.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, with having 2.5 years out, it has put me back a little bit, but still at 27, I don't think I'm at 26 now. I don't think I'm really at my peak at all. In terms of power, in terms of like what I've learnt my boxing, I still think I've got a long way to go.
Well, like I say, this is what I was trying to get to before, because you said you never really had a style. You just went in there and you just got on with it, didn't you? And you did whatever you needed to do. Do you feel this is what excites you now going forward, because you feel like you've added so much more to your game?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, and I can see it in like week on week with sparring with like Hash and Tom. So I'm just excited to put it into a performance now, really.
Well, Luke, I'm looking forward to it. Like I said, I've heard good things, obviously from your coach, Seb, but from a few other people such as Danny Wright. So March the 20th, hopefully I'll be down there at Hull filming it and then chatting to you afterwards and saying 6-0.
Spot on.
Luke, you take care, mate.
Cheers, Lee. Thank you.
Bye.